The mirror of relationship. Every human being carries mirrors, though most do not realize it. These mirrors are not made of glass, but of presence, of behavior, of energy, and of love. When you enter into a relationship, whether friendship, family, romance, or partnership, you are not just dealing with another person. You are facing a reflection of yourself. Their actions, their words, their attitude toward you, and even the way they treat themselves are signals pointing to what exists within you. Sometimes the mirror is gentle, reminding you of your value. Other times it is sharp, exposing wounds you would rather hide. This is why relationships are not just connections. They are classrooms. Every person who walks into your life teaches you something about who you are not, and who you are becoming. If you understand this, you will never waste pain, and you will never take love for granted. The reality of mirrors. Every relationship in your life is a mirror. Some mirrors are clear, some are broken, some are foggy, and some are so bright they almost blind you. But all of them are reflections. The moment you understand this, your entire perspective on people changes. You stop seeing relationships as accidents, and you start seeing them as assignments. Think about it. Why did you meet the people you met? Why did certain people cross your path at a particular season of your life? Why did you love? Why did you hurt? Why did you stay? Why did you leave? The truth is, nothing was random. Each encounter was a reflection of something happening deep inside you. When a child stands in front of a mirror for the first time, they don't always recognize themselves. They laugh, they point, they try to touch the glass. Sometimes they even cry because they don't understand that the image is theirs. Many adults are still like that. We see reflections in our relationships, but we don't recognize ourselves in them. We think, this person is the problem, or this person is my savior. We fail to realize they are simply reflecting what is already inside us. Now let's go deeper. Have you ever noticed how you can be irritated by someone's behavior, while another person in the same room doesn't care at all? Why? Because mirrors work differently for each person. If someone's actions trigger you, it is usually because their reflection has touched something in you that is unhealed. That is why one person can laugh at a joke, and another person can be deeply offended by it. The joke was the same, but the mirrors were different. Life is constantly holding up mirrors through relationships. A selfish friend shows you where you've been too silent about your needs. A controlling partner shows you where you've struggled to protect your freedom. A careless boss shows you the parts of you that still crave external validation. Every relationship has a message if you are willing to look beyond the surface. But here's the challenge. Most people don't like looking in the mirror. Have you ever woken up in the morning, stumbled into the bathroom, and the first thing you saw was your reflection? You noticed the tired eyes, the messy hair, the parts of you you wish looked better, and for a second, you wanted to turn away. That is exactly how it feels when relationships show us the truth about ourselves. We want to turn away. We want to blame the other person. We want to say, they are the reason I feel this way. But no, the reason you feel this way is because the mirror is working. Let me tell you a story. A young woman once came to me in tears. She said, I don't understand why I keep attracting men who disrespect me. Every time I think I've found love, it turns into heartbreak. She wanted me to give her the secret formula to find the perfect partner, but I asked her a simple question. What do these men have in common? She thought for a while and said, they all treated me like I wasn't important. Then I asked her another question. And what do you believe about yourself? She broke down crying because she realized the answer. She had been living with the silent belief that she wasn't enough, that she had to fight for love, that she had to earn someone's attention. The men weren't the root of her pain. They were mirrors, reflecting what she secretly believed about herself. This is the reality of mirrors. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you believe. You may want respect, but if you don't respect yourself, the mirror will keep showing you disrespect. You may want loyalty, but if you keep betraying yourself with fear and doubt, the mirror will show you betrayal. You may want love, but if you believe deep down that you are unworthy of love, The mirror will keep bringing people who confirm that belief. And here's the danger. If you don't learn from the reflection, life will keep sending the same mirror in different forms. That's why some people say, every relationship I enter feels the same. It's not that life is cruel. It's that the lesson has not been learned. Until you recognize the reflection, you cannot change it. But this is also where hope lies. Because once you recognize the mirror, you gain the power to rewrite the story. You realize that toxic people don't define you, they reveal you. They don't destroy you, they expose the wounds that need healing. Once you heal those wounds, the reflection changes. The mirror no longer shows brokenness. It begins to show strength. Let me make it even clearer. Imagine standing in front of a dirty mirror. At first, you might think, I am dirty. Look at the stains on me. But when you take a closer look, you realize the stains are not on you, they are on the mirror. And once you clean the mirror, you see yourself more clearly. Relationships work the same way. Sometimes the dirt you see is not really you. It is the reflection of unhealed pain. When you deal with the pain, you see your true self shining through. Now pause for a moment and reflect. Think of one person in your life who has triggered you the most. Ask yourself, what mirror were they holding up? What wound inside me did they expose? What lesson did I avoid because I was too busy blaming them? Sit with that thought, because awareness is the first step to freedom. The reality of mirrors is this. You cannot control who shows up in your life, but you can control what you do with the reflection. You can either complain or you can grow. You can either stay stuck or you can rise. The choice is yours. And once you embrace this truth, you will begin to live differently. You will stop running from difficult people and start asking, what are they teaching me about myself? You will stop clinging to relationships out of fear and start choosing them out of wisdom. You will stop blaming others for your wounds and start healing them with courage. Because every reflection has a purpose. Every mirror is an invitation, and every relationship, no matter how painful or beautiful, is shaping you into the person you are meant to become. Toxic reflections. Toxic relationships are some of life's harshest teachers. They are the mirrors we least want to look into, but often the ones that reveal the deepest truths about ourselves. Many people think toxic relationships are punishments or bad luck, but they are really messages. They come into our lives to reveal unhealed wounds, hidden fears, and places where we have not yet discovered our worth. When you are inside a toxic relationship, it feels like a trap. You know something is wrong, but you can't seem to walk away. You tell yourself stories. Maybe they will change. Maybe if I love harder, things will get better. Maybe it's my fault. The longer you stay, the harder it becomes to see clearly. But here is the truth. Toxic relationships don't just happen. They latch onto the parts of you that still believe you don't deserve more. Why do people stay in relationships where they are mistreated? Some stay because of fear. The fear of being alone. The fear of starting over. The fear of what others will say. Some stay because of hope. The hope that one day the person will change. That the pain will suddenly turn into love. Some stay because of guilt, believing that walking away means failure. But underneath all of these reasons lies one core belief. I am not enough without them. That belief is the wound. And the toxic person is the mirror, reflecting it back to you. Let me give you a story. A man once told me about his best friend who constantly used him. Every time this friend needed money, he called. Every time he needed help, he was there. But when the man needed support, his friend was nowhere to be found. I asked him, "Why do you still keep this friend?" He said, "Because I don't want to be alone. I've known him since childhood." Then I asked, "And what do you believe will happen if you lose him?" He paused and whispered, "I'll have no one." That was the wound. The toxic friendship wasn't about the friend's selfishness. It was about his own fear of loneliness. This is how toxic mirrors work. They show you where you have settled for less than you deserve. They expose the cracks in your boundaries. They reveal the fear that drives your decisions. And as painful as they are powerful opportunities for growth. But here is where most people go wrong. Instead of looking at the mirror, They keep trying to fix the person in it. They say, if only they stop lying, if only they stop cheating, if only they love me more. They put all their energy into changing the reflection instead of changing the one who looks into it. You cannot clean a mirror by wiping the reflection. You clean it by wiping yourself. In the same way, you don't heal by trying to fix a toxic person. You heal by addressing the wound in you that keeps allowing their presence. Toxic relationships are like fire. If you play too close without protection, you get burned. But fire also teaches you wisdom. It shows you where not to touch, how to protect yourself, and how to respect your own safety. Some of the greatest lessons of self-worth are learned in the flames of toxic relationships. Here's another reality. Toxic relationships often repeat themselves until the lesson is learned. That is why some people leave one toxic partner, only to fall into another with the same traits. Life is not punishing them. Life is saying, you did not learn the lesson the first time. Here is another chance. The mirror will keep appearing until you stop running from your own reflection. So, how do you break free? The first step is awareness. You must be willing to admit that what you are experiencing is not love. It is bondage. Love lifts. It doesn't destroy. Love heals. It doesn't wound. Love gives. It doesn't only take. If you are constantly drained, constantly doubting your worth, constantly silenced, then you are not in love. You are in a mirror of your wounds. The second step is courage. Walking away from toxic relationships requires bravery, because you are not just leaving a person, you are leaving a part of yourself behind. You are leaving the insecure version of you that believed you couldn't survive without them. You are leaving the fearful version of you that thought loneliness was worse than pain. It takes courage to walk away, but that courage is the birth of healing. The third step is reflection. After you leave, you must ask yourself, what did this mirror teach me? What wound did it expose? What fear did it reveal? Without reflection, you risk repeating the same cycle again. With reflection, you gain wisdom that will protect you for life. Let me tell you something powerful. Toxic relationships don't break you. They awaken you. They remind you of how much you have tolerated, how much you have ignored, how much you have given away. And once you wake up, you will never go back to sleep. You will begin to see your value more clearly. You will set boundaries without apology. You will love yourself enough to say, never again. But here's the twist. Not every toxic relationship ends in separation. Some transform. Sometimes the person sees the mirror too, and they decide to grow. Sometimes both people realize the toxicity was not love but brokenness, and they heal together. But this only happens when both sides are willing to face the mirror. If one side refuses, you must decide. Will I stay trapped in a cycle, or will I step into freedom? And this is the message of toxic reflections. They are not here to destroy you. They are here to direct you. They are the loud alarms that wake you up to the areas of your life you can no longer ignore. They show you your wounds, yes, but they also show you your strength. Because every time you rise from a toxic mirror, you come out stronger, wiser, and more determined to never accept less than you deserve again. So I ask you today, who is the toxic mirror in your life? And more importantly, what are they showing you about yourself? Is it your fear of being alone? Your silence when you should speak? Your desperation for approval? Or your disbelief in your own value? Do not waste the mirror. Do not run from it. Look at it, learn from it, and then walk into your healing. Because toxic reflections are not the end of your story. They are the beginning of your transformation. Healing reflections. Healing is not a destination, it is a journey. And like all journeys, it begins with a single step, the decision to look into a different kind of mirror. For many of us, the mirror we've seen most of our lives has been distorted by pain, fear, and past experiences. But the moment we begin to look into the mirror of healthy relationships, we start to see ourselves in a way that is pure, undistorted, and full of possibility. Imagine standing in front of a mirror that doesn't distort your image. A mirror that doesn't add shadows where there are none. A mirror that reflects you as you are, but also as you are meant to be. Healthy relationships are like that mirror. They help us see our potential, our worth, and our beauty. They are reflections of our wholeness, not our brokenness. But let's be honest for a moment. Healthy relationships are rare. We all know what it feels like to experience love that feels conditional, to be with someone who wants you to be different than you are. We've all been in relationships where we feel like we are never quite enough, never truly seen, and never fully accepted. And when that happens, we begin to internalize that we are unworthy of the love we desire. But the truth is this: you are always worthy of love. And love, when it is healthy, never demands you to be anything other than yourself. Healthy relationships are the ones that hold up a mirror to you and show you the truth of who you are, without the distortion of fear or shame. They show you that you are enough, that you are valuable, and that you are deserving of all the good things life has to offer. Let me share a story. There was a woman who had lived through an abusive marriage for years. She didn't know who she was anymore because she had spent so long trying to become who her husband wanted her to be. She wore the mask of what he desired, but deep inside, she was suffocating. She had lost her voice, her power, and her sense of self. One day, after finally leaving that relationship, she met someone who simply accepted her. No strings attached, no expectations. He saw her for who she truly was. At first, she didn't know how to respond to this kind of love. She was skeptical, afraid that it was too good to be true. But over time, she started to see herself differently. This person wasn't asking her to change. He wasn't trying to control her. He wasn't threatening to leave if she didn't meet certain conditions. Instead, he loved her as she was, and in that love, she began to heal. This is the power of healthy relationships. They don't try to make you someone else. They show you who you already are: strong, worthy, capable of giving and receiving love in its purest form. Healthy relationships are like a mirror that reflects your true self. They remind you that your value is not dependent on what you do for others, but on who you are. But let's dig deeper. Healthy relationships are also mirrors that show us what we need to heal. At first, this might sound contradictory. How can a healthy relationship reveal what is broken inside me? Isn't love supposed to be about feeling whole, feeling loved, and feeling complete? Yes, love is about all those things. But love also has the ability to bring up what is hidden, buried deep inside us. Healthy relationships don't just reflect our strengths. They also reflect the places in us that still need healing. Sometimes the mirror of love will show you the broken parts that you've ignored for so long. The parts of you that feel unworthy. The parts of you that are afraid to trust. The parts of you that still carry shame, fear, or unresolved pain. These reflections can be uncomfortable at first. You may not want to face these parts of yourself, but here's the beauty of healthy relationships. They create a safe space for you to heal. They do not condemn you for your brokenness. They accept you in your imperfection. And when you are loved in this way, you begin to heal. Think about it. When you love someone with your whole heart, you are not loving them for their perfection. You are loving them for their humanity. And in the same way, when someone loves you with their whole heart, they are not loving you because you are flawless. They are loving you because they see your soul. They see your worth. They see the beauty in your scars, and they are willing to walk beside you as you heal. Healing relationships are not about finding someone to fix you. They are about finding someone who will support you as you fix yourself. They are about discovering the strength within you to confront your fears, to face your past, and to reclaim your power. Let me give you another example. A man had been deeply hurt by his parents growing up. He was neglected and abandoned by the very people who were supposed to love him unconditionally. For years, he carried the pain of that rejection, and as an adult, he struggled with trusting anyone, especially in relationships. But when he met someone who showed him consistent love and care, something shifted. At first, he was suspicious. He couldn't understand why someone would love him without any conditions. But over time, he realized that this love was not only unconditional, it was healing. It didn't erase his pain, but it allowed him to begin healing from it. This is the power of healthy relationships. They create an environment where healing can take place. They don't rush you. They don't force you to heal before you are ready. They simply love you as you are. And in that love, they create the space for you to become whole again. Now, I want you to reflect for a moment. Think of a time when someone loved you in a way that made you feel seen, accepted, and worthy. Maybe it was a friend, a partner, a mentor, or even a stranger. How did that love change you? How did it make you see yourself differently? Healthy love has a way of drawing out the best in us. It shows us our strength when we feel weak. It reminds us of our worth when we forget. It helps us become the people we were always meant to be. And here's the truth. You deserve this kind of love. You deserve to be loved in a way that reflects your highest potential, not your deepest fears. You deserve to be seen for the person you are, not the person others want you to be. So I ask you, how can you begin to see yourself in the mirror of healthy love? What would it look like if you allowed someone to love you without the fear of rejection, without the need to prove yourself? What would it feel like to love yourself in this same way without conditions, without expectations, simply as you are? In the end, healthy relationships are not just about two people coming together. They are about two people holding up mirrors that reflect the best versions of themselves. When you enter into a healthy relationship, you are not just seeing the other person clearly. You are seeing yourself clearly for the first time. And in that clarity, you will find the freedom to heal, to grow, and to love fully. The inner mirror. There is a moment in everyone's life when they stand in front of a mirror and realize the person staring back is not who they thought they were. It's a strange and sometimes uncomfortable experience to see ourselves clearly for the first time. We look at the reflection and wonder, is this really me? Is this all I am? But what if I told you that this moment of self-reflection, is the beginning of true transformation? We spend so much of our lives looking outward, constantly comparing ourselves to others, seeking approval from external sources, and trying to be someone we think the world wants us to be. But the real power lies in looking inward, in facing the mirror of our own soul, and recognizing our true essence. The truth is, we can spend our entire lives looking for validation from others, but the only mirror that truly matters is the one inside. The way you see yourself, the way you value yourself, the way you speak to yourself in the quiet moments. These are the reflections that shape your reality. Let me tell you a story. There was a young woman named Maya who had always been told that she was too quiet, too shy, too introverted. Growing up, her classmates called her the quiet one, and her family often said she needed to be more outgoing, more like everyone else. She began to believe that who she was not enough, that she had to change to fit in, to be loved, to be accepted. One day, Maya had a moment of clarity. She was standing in front of a mirror, looking at herself, and something shifted. For the first time, she saw herself not through the lens of others' expectations, but through her own. She looked into her own eyes and whispered, "I am enough." That was the turning point. Maya realized that she had been looking at herself through the eyes of others for far too long. She had let their opinions become her mirror. But in that quiet moment, she understood that she didn't need to change who she was to be worthy of love and respect. She didn't need to be louder, bolder, or more like someone else. She was already enough, just as she was. This is the power of the inner mirror. It is the reflection of who you truly are without the noise of society, without the judgment of others, without the pressure to conform. The inner mirror shows you your worth, your strength, and your unique beauty. It reminds you that you don't need to seek validation outside yourself. Everything you need to be whole, to be loved, to be powerful, is already within you. But here's the challenge. We often fail to see our true reflection. We see the flaws, the imperfections, the mistakes. We focus on what we believe is missing instead of what is already present. This is where the power of self-compassion comes in. Self-compassion is the ability to look at yourself in the mirror and embrace the parts of you that you would otherwise reject. It's the ability to say, "I am not perfect, but I am worthy of love and respect just as I am." Think about the way you treat yourself in moments of failure. When you make a mistake, do you criticize yourself? Do you say things like, I am not good enough, or I'll never get it right? Or do you show yourself the same kindness that you would show to a friend? Most of us are much harder on ourselves than we would ever be on others. We carry guilt and shame, believing that our mistakes define us, that our past decisions are a permanent part of who we are. But the truth is, your mistakes do not define you. Your failures are not your identity. They are simply moments in time, opportunities to learn and grow. And in the mirror of self-compassion, these moments are seen for what they truly are. Lessons, not labels. Let me ask you this. When you look in the mirror, what do you see? Do you see a person who has made mistakes? Someone who is broken? Someone who isn't enough? Or do you see a person who is constantly growing, learning, and evolving? When we look inward, we must choose to see the good in ourselves. We must choose to see the lessons in our struggles, the beauty in our scars, the strength in our vulnerability. The inner mirror does not distort. It does not hide your flaws or pretend that everything is perfect. It shows you everything, the good, the bad, the ugly. But it also shows you the potential for growth, for change, and for healing. It's important to remember that the journey of self-reflection is not about perfection. It's about acceptance. It's about loving yourself through your imperfections, embracing your flaws, and acknowledging that you are a work in progress. Your value is not based on your achievements, your appearance, or your mistakes. It is based on the fact that you are a unique, worthy human being. Now, think back to the last time you looked in a mirror. What did you say to yourself? Did you smile, or did you criticize? Did you recognize your worth, or did you focus on your flaws? The way you speak to yourself is just as important as the way you treat others. If you want to cultivate a life of love and abundance, you must first learn to love yourself. You must learn to see yourself through compassionate eyes. And when you do, you will see the world differently. Here's the reality. How you see yourself directly impacts how you experience life. If you look in the mirror and see someone unworthy, you will attract people and situations that confirm that belief. If you look in the mirror and see someone powerful, capable, and deserving of all the good things life has to offer, you will attract those things into your life. This is the power of the inner mirror. It reflects back to you everything you believe about yourself. So, the question is, what do you believe about yourself? You are worthy of love. You are worthy of respect. You are worthy of happiness, peace, and success. These are not privileges that you have to earn. They are your birthright. And when you learn to see yourself through this lens, everything in your life will begin to change. So take a moment today to look into the mirror. Not just at your face, but at your soul. What do you see? Do you see someone who is strong, capable, and worthy? Or do you see someone who needs to prove their worth? The truth is, you don't need to prove anything to anyone, least of all yourself. You are already enough. You always have been. And when you begin to see yourself through this inner mirror of love and acceptance, you will begin to transform. You will step into your power, you will heal, and you will start to live a life that reflects the truth of who you really are. Becoming a mirror for others. There's an undeniable truth. Every one of us is a mirror. You might not always realize it, but your presence, your energy, your actions, and even your words reflect onto those around you. Just as relationships serve as mirrors for us, we also serve as mirrors for others. Whether you are aware of it or not, people look to you for clues about who they are, who they could be, and how they should navigate the world. When you enter someone's life, you are not just an individual showing up in a space. You are a reflection of what they may already believe about themselves or what they are yet to see. This is a powerful responsibility because the mirror you offer to others can shape their reality, their self-worth, and their journey. Let me share a story with you. A man named David had always struggled with self-doubt. He felt like he wasn't good enough, like his dreams were too big for someone like him. He worked hard, but he never quite felt like he deserved success. One day, David met someone who changed everything. This person was kind, uplifting, and full of belief in David. They spoke words of encouragement, reminded him of his potential, and showed him that he was worthy of everything he desired. At first, David was skeptical. He didn't understand how someone could see so much good in him when he couldn't see it in himself. But over time, he began to believe the reflection this person held up to him. He started to see himself differently. He started to believe in his own worth. This person wasn't just offering kind words, they were acting as a mirror, showing David what he couldn't yet see in himself. David's life transformed. He started to take risks, to chase after his dreams, to believe that he deserved success. And all of this was possible because someone showed him a new reflection, a new possibility of who he could be. This is the power we all have. We are mirrors for others, and the reflections we offer can either build them up or tear them down. The truth is, when you show up in someone's life, you're not just reflecting yourself, you're reflecting what they believe about themselves. Think about it. How many times have you met someone and instantly felt drawn to them, like they were a light in your life? Their presence made you feel like you could be better, like you could accomplish more, like you were capable of achieving greatness. Why? Because they held up a mirror that showed you your potential. And conversely, how many times have you met someone who, without saying a word, made you feel small, invisible, or unimportant? They didn't need to say anything. Their energy, their attitude, their behavior reflected back to you your fears, your insecurities, or your self-doubt. This is the power of being a mirror. The energy we project into the world becomes the mirror others see. Let's pause and think about this. How often do we stop and consider the mirror we are offering to others? When you walk into a room, what do people see in you? When you interact with others, what reflection are you showing them? Are you reflecting light, possibility, and growth? Or are you reflecting darkness, fear, and self-doubt? This is an important question because we are constantly influencing those around us, whether it's through the way we talk, the way we act, or the energy we project. The people we meet every day, whether they are family, friends, colleagues, or strangers, are all looking for mirrors. They're looking for someone who sees their worth, someone who believes in their potential, someone who reflects back to them the person they want to become. Now, you might be thinking, I don't have it all together. How can I be a mirror for someone else when I'm still struggling? And here's the truth. You don't have to be perfect to be a powerful mirror. In fact, sometimes your authenticity, your vulnerability, and your willingness to show up as you are can be the most powerful mirror of all. Think about it. When you reflect your true self, with all your flaws, struggles, and triumphs, you show others that it's okay to be imperfect. You show them that it's okay to be human. Your honesty, your openness, and your authenticity can be the very thing that helps someone else heal, grow, and believe in themselves. So, instead of trying to be something you're not, embrace who you are. The more you embrace your own journey, your struggles, your victories, your growth, the more you will reflect that back to others. You will show them that it's okay to be in the process. You will mirror the possibility of becoming more, becoming better, without needing to be perfect right now. And this brings me to another important point. Becoming a mirror for others is not about rescuing them or fixing their problems. It's about reflecting their strength, their potential, and their value. You are not here to save anyone. You are here to show them that they already have everything they need to succeed. You are here to reflect their brilliance, their beauty, and their capacity for growth. Here's a simple exercise for you. Think of someone you know, whether it's a friend, family member, or coworker, who might be struggling with self-doubt, insecurity, or fear. Ask yourself, what kind of mirror can I offer them? What is it that they need to see? Do they need to see their strength? Do they need to see that they are worthy of love? Do they need to see that their dreams are valid, no matter how big or small? How can you be that mirror? How can you reflect back to them the person they have the potential to become? Sometimes, just a word of encouragement, a simple compliment, or a reminder of their value is all it takes. Other times, it's about simply being there for them, offering your presence, your understanding, and your support. Let's be real for a moment. The world can be a tough place. There's a lot of negativity, judgment, and fear circulating. but you have the power to change that. Every time you show up with positivity, every time you reflect love and belief in someone else, you become a part of the solution. You become a beacon of light in a world that sometimes feels dark. And the more you reflect positivity, the more you will attract it into your own life. Remember, the mirror works both ways. When you reflect the best in others, you will begin to see the best in yourself. When you build others up, you will also be building yourself up. The love, encouragement, and support you give others will always find its way back to you. Now, pause for a moment and think about the people in your life. What kind of mirror are you to them? Are you reflecting their best selves, or are you reflecting their fears and insecurities? How can you start showing up as the mirror they need to see? You are not just a passive observer in the lives of others. You are an active participant. You have the power to change lives by simply reflecting the best in people. The mirror you offer to the world can be a light that helps others find their way, that helps them see their potential, and that helps them heal. So, what kind of mirror do you want to be? Will you reflect the fears and doubts of others, or will you reflect their strengths and possibilities? The choice is yours. The gift of reflection. Every relationship in your life, whether it lasts for a moment or a lifetime, is a gift. It is easy to forget this when we find ourselves tangled in conflict, disappointment, or heartbreak. But even the hardest of relationships offer us something precious: the gift of reflection. Each person who enters your life brings a unique lesson, and the key is to learn to see these lessons for what they truly are. Think about the relationships in your life. Some have been easy, joyful, and nurturing. Others may have been difficult, challenging, and painful. Yet, even in the most painful relationships, there is something to learn. Every person you meet is a mirror, a reflection of who you are, what you value, what you fear, and what you need to heal. This is the gift of reflection. But we often resist seeing relationships as gifts, especially when they bring us pain. We want to run away from people who hurt us, push away those who challenge us, and avoid those who mirror our insecurities. But the truth is, even the most difficult relationships are offering us something invaluable: the opportunity to grow. They are a mirror reflecting parts of ourselves that we might otherwise ignore. They are an invitation to heal the wounds we haven't yet addressed, to confront the fears we haven't yet faced, and to love the parts of ourselves we haven't yet accepted. Let me share a story. There was a woman named Sarah who had a friend named Jessica. Their friendship had always been rocky. They would go through cycles of closeness and distance, and every time Sarah tried to connect with Jessica, it felt like Jessica was pushing her away. For a long time, Sarah felt rejected, abandoned, and hurt. She started questioning herself. Why doesn't she care about me? What did I do wrong? Why am I not enough? But one day, after yet another disagreement, Sarah realized something. Jessica wasn't just acting out of malice. She wasn't rejecting Sarah as a person. Jessica was reflecting something Sarah had been avoiding. Sarah had never learned to set boundaries in her relationships. She had always sacrificed her needs for others, afraid that if she didn't, people would leave her. Jessica's behavior was mirroring Sarah's own fear of being abandoned. Jessica was showing her exactly what she needed to learn: that true friendship is based on mutual respect, healthy boundaries, and self-respect. In that moment, Sarah began to see the gift in their relationship. Jessica's behavior wasn't a punishment. It was a reflection of the lessons Sarah needed to learn. It was an opportunity to grow, to set boundaries, and to learn to value herself. And through this painful friendship, Sarah started to see her own worth and what she truly needed in relationships. This is the power of the gift of reflection. Relationships, whether easy or difficult, are mirrors that show us who we are and who we are becoming. And even when they are challenging, they are offering us the chance to heal, to grow, and to evolve. Now, let's talk about what happens when we start accepting relationships as gifts. The first thing that changes is our perspective. We stop seeing people as obstacles or burdens. Instead, we begin to see them as opportunities. Opportunities to learn, to grow, to expand our hearts, and to understand ourselves more deeply. We begin to embrace the idea that no relationship, no matter how difficult, is wasted. Every relationship has something to offer. Some teach us patience, others teach us forgiveness. Some help us develop compassion, while others teach us how to love ourselves. Some teach us how to communicate, while others show us how to listen. Some challenge us, while others inspire us. And when we begin to see relationships in this light, we stop blaming others for our pain. We stop pointing fingers and start asking, what is this person showing me about myself? Let's pause and reflect for a moment. Think of a relationship in your life that has caused you pain or frustration. Instead of focusing on what they did wrong, ask yourself, what has this relationship taught me? What is the reflection? What is this relationship trying to show me about myself? Maybe it's showing you where you need to heal. Maybe it's showing you where you need to set better boundaries. Maybe it's showing you where you've been settling for less than you deserve. Maybe it's teaching you about forgiveness or trust. Whatever the lesson is, there is a gift in it. And when you see that gift, you shift from being a victim of your relationships to being a student of life. This shift is empowering. When you stop blaming others and start seeing the lessons, you take back your power. You stop feeling helpless and start feeling in control of your growth. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances, and you begin to see yourself as the creator of your own life, using every relationship to become the best version of yourself. But the gift of reflection doesn't just stop with the painful relationships. It also applies to the beautiful, nurturing relationships that elevate us. These relationships are mirrors too, but instead of showing us where we need healing, they show us where we are thriving. They reflect our strength, our beauty, and our worth. Think about the people in your life who uplift you, who make you feel seen, heard, and valued. How do they reflect your greatness? How do they mirror the best parts of you? They show you your potential. They remind you of your power. They reflect back to you the love, kindness, and wisdom that resides within you. They don't just accept you, they celebrate you. And when you allow yourself to receive this reflection, you start to believe in yourself more deeply. So, I ask you today, what is the greatest gift you've received from your relationships? What lesson, what reflection has helped you grow the most? Can you see that every person you've encountered, no matter how brief or long, has contributed to your journey? The gift of reflection is the gift of transformation. It is the gift of becoming the best version of yourself, not by changing who you are, but by embracing the full spectrum of who you've always been. It is the gift of understanding that every relationship is an opportunity to learn more about yourself, to heal, and to rise to new heights. As you begin to see relationships as gifts, you will notice that your energy shifts. You stop feeling resentment, bitterness, or regret. You begin to feel gratitude for the lessons, the growth, and the opportunities you've had to become stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. You will learn to appreciate the people in your life not for who they are in the moment, but for the lessons they've brought into your world. Let's wrap up with a final reflection. Think of a relationship that has changed you, helped you grow, or brought you closer to who you truly are. Take a moment to express gratitude for the gift that relationship brought into your life. Whether it was love, pain, learning, or healing, thank that person, even if you never say it directly, for the mirror they've held up for you. Because, in the end, every relationship is a mirror that helps you discover more about yourself. And that is the greatest gift of all. Finally, as we wrap up today, remember that every relationship is a mirror, a reflection of who we are becoming, and what we need to heal. Whether it's a moment of joy or a time of challenge, each person who enters our life offers us a gift, a lesson to grow, a chance to evolve, and a reflection that can lead us to deeper self-awareness. Take the lessons, embrace the reflections, and trust that every experience has a purpose. You are worthy of love, worthy of growth, and worthy of the life you're building. If today's message resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe to Motivational Dose for more insights and inspiration to guide you on your journey. May you continue to grow, heal, and shine. God bless you.